the tumor, and it regresses spontaneously. Grossly, it is a cup-shaped growth or lesion with a central crater filled with keratin. It is a cup-like structure in the center of which you can see keratin. Cup-like structure filled with a crater filled with keratin. Histologically, lobules of squamous cell with glassy cytoplasm, they undergo keratinization without intervening granular layer. Lobules of squamous cells are seen just like squamous cell carcinoma, but it is not squamous cell carcinomas. I will discuss this again in my coming slides. This is the keratoacanthoma. You see a cup-like structure in the center of which you see these whitish keratin. Keratin fills the cup. Keratoacanthoma, raised lesion, circumscribes raised lesion. In the center you see keratin. Keratoacanthoma. These are the margin of cup and this is keratin. Histologically, keratoacanthoma, you see, this is the crater, it is filled with pink structure is keratin, keratinous material, layers of keratin, laminations of keratin, and these are squamous epithelial cells, and you see they are proliferating downwards, just like squamous cell carcinoma, they are going downwards, but they are not, this is not squamous cell carcinoma. And in the margin, diagnostic feature is that from the margin you see dipping of the epidermis. Keratoacanthoma, keratin and then thickened epidermis layers, lobules are going downwards into the dermis. Keratoacanthoma. Another keratoacanthoma, keratin in the superficial part, and this is cup-like structure. And you see squamous cells, lobules of squamous cells going downwards, just like squamous cell carcinoma. They are going downwards just like squamous cell carcinoma. Therefore, it comes in the differential diagnosis of squamous cell carcinoma. And sometimes it is very difficult clinically and histologically. Even pathologists sometimes they can't diagnose whether this is keratoacanthoma or squamous cell carcinoma. Therefore, I am discussing this phenomena with the squamous cell carcinoma. Sometimes it is not possible to decide. And these lesions then they are labeled as keratoacanthoma like squamous cell carcinoma. But some points can help to differentiate squamous cell carcinoma, usually keratoacanthoma. Usually these keratoacanthoma, they lie superficial to the skin adnexa. This is sebaceous gland and this is hair follicle. And this is superficial to this. This may help to differentiate between keratoacanthoma and squamous cell carcinoma. Now we come to the next important tumor of the skin, basal cell carcinoma. I told you it is the most common invasive slow growing cancer of the skin. Basal cell carcinoma is the most common invasive slow growing cancer of the skin and it rarely metastasizes. Although metastasization is seen but rare. It depends upon the type of the grade of the tumor, type of the tumor, whether it is nodular or superficial. The nodular lesion can sometimes metastasize. These are the sites where basal cell carcinoma is usually seen. Again, sun exposed areas, and nose is a common site. See, nose, and then nasolabial folds. And I have seen this phenomenon over here. In the medial cancer, it is a common site. Medial cancers of the eye is also commonly involved by basal cell carcinoma. And they can present as shiny papule-like lesions. You see, pearly papule-like structures, and some you see vessels are there. And these dilated vessels, this phenomenon is called telangiectasia. Small vessels on the surface of the lesion. This phenomenon is called telangiectasia. And these are pearly papular lesions, shiny pearly appearance. They may present as rolled lesions. In the center, some ulcer and peripheral parts showing rolled margins, raised or rolled border, and in the peripheral parts you can get some dilated vessel telangiectasia. There again this peripheral part is shiny, pearly. They can present as ulcer, erosion or ulcer. If these ulcers are deep, they can involve underlying bones such as maxilla or underlying structures, and this type of ulcer which is deep seated and involves underlying bone is called rodent ulcer. And another basal cell carcinoma showing telangiectasia and the edges are rolled or raised. Morphology. Pearly papules. In the previous slide I showed you the papules are pearly, shiny papules with telangiectasia, dilated vessels on the surface of the papules. Some of these basal cell carcinomas, they may contain melanin, therefore they appear blackish. And this type of melanoma is sometimes called pigmented melanoma, and this can be confused clinically with melanoma. Sometimes the clinicians make the mistake by labeling this basal cell carcinoma, pigmented basal cell carcinoma, as melanoma. They may ulcerate. If local invasion of the bone and sinuses occur, such as maxillary sinus, this invasion of bone and sinuses by the ulcer is called rodent ulcer. Rodent ulcer is a name for basal cell carcinoma. It can be superficial, it can be nodular. Superficial are usually multifocal. Another point is that basal cell carcinoma can present at multifocal site, and they are usually superficial. And the other is nodular, and they can present as raised massive, and their prognosis is poor as compared to superficial basal cell carcinoma. Another view of the basal cell carcinoma, you see raised polypoid papule-like lesion with shiny pearly white appearance and some dilated blood vessels, telangiectasia. Histology of the basal cell carcinoma. Basically, this basal cell carcinoma is composed of lobules of or islands of basaloid cells or basal cells. Because these cells, they resemble basal cells, therefore they are called basaloid cells, hyperchromatic cells. Lobules, islands or masses of basaloid cells. They arise from the epidermis, basal layer of the epidermis or follicular epithelium. Their origin is from the basal layer of the epidermis or epithelium of the follicle, hair follicle. You see, they can be multifocal, I told you, and multifocal are usually superficial, they can be nodular. Another characteristic feature of this basal cell carcinoma is the nuclei in the peripheral part of the island. They form a row-like structure, and this row is called palisading of the nuclei. The peripheral layer part of the island of basal cell carcinoma, it forms a row-like structure, fence-like structure, and this is palisading of the nuclei. This is diagnostic of basal cell carcinoma. But you may also see retraction of the surrounding stroma. These islands of basaloid cell, they are retracted from the surrounding stroma, and this is basically artifact, and this retraction artifact also helps in the diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma. Histological view of the basal cell carcinoma, you see a huge island of basaloid cells, again a small island of basaloid cell, and you can see this island of cells is invading the underlying dermis, this is dermis, and this is arising from the deeper part of the epidermis. This island of basaloid cell, which is invading the dermis, is arising from the basal layer of the epidermis. And you see these are dark cells, they just resemble these cells. These cells, they resemble basal layer of the epidermis, therefore they are called basalite cells, hyperchromatic cells. And the peripheral part of this island, it forms a row-like structure. And this row is called palisading of the nuclei. Fence-like lesion or the nuclei in the peripheral part, they are aligned in a palisade pattern. This is palisading of the nuclei. They are aligned in the peripheral part. This phenomena, palisading of the nuclei, it helps in the diagnosis of squamous cell carcinoma. You see, fence-like structure or nuclei are aligned in the peripheral part in a palisade pattern. Another histological picture of the basal cell carcinoma, you see this is the epidermis, some keratin is there, and these islands of cells or lobules of cells, they are arising from the basal layer of the epidermis, you see, and a big island. These are basalite cells, and the peripheral part of this island, it shows palisading. Palisading of the peripheral part of this island, palisading of the nuclei, form a row-like structure. They are aligned along the peripheral part. Again, a big island of tumor cells invading the dermis, and you can see peripheral part is showing palisading. Palisading is very prominent. Over here you can see palisading of the nuclei. But you can also see that this island is separated from the stroma. This white cleft is retraction artifact, and this retraction artifact is also helpful in the diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma. Retraction, you see, these are retraction. Over here it is very marked. These islands are separated from the stroma, and this separation is called retraction. Palisading and retraction, they are helpful in the diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma. Basalite cells with palisading and retraction, and stroma shows infiltration by lymphocyte, and this structure, blackish pigment, is melanin. I told you some of the basal cell carcinoma, they may contain melanin, and this melanin, clinically, clinician can mistake a diagnosis of melanoma. Actually, it is basal cell carcinoma, but clinically it may appear blackish, pigmented, therefore it comes in the diagnosis of clinical differential diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma. But actually it is melanoma, but actually it is basal cell carcinoma. Pigmented basal cell carcinoma containing melanin pigment. This blackish brown pigment is melanin pigment. Again, another view of the basal cell carcinoma, you can see island of cell with some palisading, and this white area, cleft-like structure, is retraction artifact. Again, arising from the basal layer of epidermis, island of cell, and this is the surrounding stroma showing some inflammatory cells such as lymphocytes, and this island of cell is separated from the surrounding stroma, and this cleft is a retraction artifact. It helps in the diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma, retraction species. Pathogenesis. There are some theories about its pathogenesis. One is that there is mutation in the PTCH gene. PTCH gene resembles PASH gene of the Drosophila. This PTCH gene, it combines with SMO. PTCH gene actually produces the glycoprotein, transmembrane glycoprotein. It combines in another transmembrane glycoprotein, SMO, and they both combine to form a receptor, and this receptor complex then combines with hedgehog, sonic hedgehog, SHH. SHH is a ligand. This ligand, it binds with the receptor. This receptor is bimolecular, PTCH and SMO. transmembrane receptor complex. It binds with HEJAK, and as a result, this mutation causes signal transfection. And when there is signal transfection, activation of genes occur, transcription occur, and proliferation of cells occur. Basically, mutation of PTCH gene is there. And this mutation is also seen in a rare disorder that is called nevoid basal cell carcinoma syndrome. This PTCH mutation is also seen in a rare condition called nevoid basal cell carcinoma syndrome. Mutation in P53 is also noticed in some of the basal cell carcinoma. Thank you.